Good morning, and let me take this opportunity to say hello to the members of the Valley Regional Commission, and we're delighted to be with you all this morning. I want to thank the City Councilor Pop Barnes, Jim Livingston from the Commission for arranging this Zoom call with our Columbus Legislative Delegation. And I'm Calvin Smyer, and I chair the delegation. I am a member of the Appropriations Committee and the Higher Ed Committee of Appropriation, and a member of the Rules Committee, Transportation Committee, and Higher Education Committee as well. And I'm delighted to be with you all today, and we're looking forward to having a stronger relationship with River Valley Regional Commission. And we're looking forward to the luncheon on Wednesday with you all. And so it's a great opportunity for us. And as a delegation, we do this from time to time. And we're excited about being on with your leadership. And we're looking forward to the luncheon on Wednesday. With that, I'll start off with our members of our legislative delegation, and I'll start alphabetically. And if could, Debbie Buckner, if you would start and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Debbie Buckner, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty with my visual this morning. I apologize, but it is an honor to be here, and I appreciate the work done by the Regional Commission. I serve on the Appropriations Committee, the Ways and Means Committee, the Natural Resources Committee, the Retirement Committee, and the State Properties. So it is an honor to be here, and we look forward to being with you on Wednesday as well.
Thank you very much, Representative Buckner. Now, Representative Carolyn Hugley.
Good morning. I'm State Representative Carolyn Hugley. It's my pleasure to be with you. I always say I represent the best of Columbus. I represent straight up the heart of Columbus, from one county line to the other. It's my pleasure to serve on the Appropriations Committee, where I serve on the Appropriations Health Subcommittee. I'm a member of the Rules Committee, the Insurance Committee, and Banks and Banking. I'm honored to be with you. I want to thank you for the work that you do. My first job in Columbus was with Lord Chattahoochee Area Planning Agency, so I know the fine work that you all do there at River Valley. So thank you for the opportunity to be with you this morning.
Senator Robertson. Senator Robertson.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I'm State Senator Randy Robertson. I represent District 29, which encompasses all of Harris County, all of Meriwether County, half of Muskogee County, the northern half, and then the southern half of Troup County, to include the city of LaGrange. I'm the chairman of the State Retirement Committee in the Senate. I serve on the Ethics Committee, Insurance and Labor, Public Safety, where I serve as secretary, state and local government, and government oversight committees. And I want to thank you all for welcoming us today and having this meeting.
Next, a member of the delegation is the chairman of the Rules Committee, Representative Richard Smith. Chairman Smith.
Calvin, it's always a pleasure to be here. A little bit about the area I serve is House District 134. It's a part of the northern Columbus, starting around Columbus High and going north, but also have two precincts in Harris County, Ellerslie and Catala. The committees I serve on, I'm on Appropriations, Higher Ed, I'm on Insurance, I'm on Natural Resources, I'm chairman of Rules, and also on Reapportionment, which will start this fall. One of the things about the legislature this year, we've had over 800 bills introduced in the House and over 300 introduced in the Senate. So anything that makes it to the House floor has to go through Rules.
He said that with a little distinction right there. And the next member of our legislative delegation, Representative Van Smith. Representative Smith.
Thank you, Dean. I really appreciate it. Glad to be with y'all. Good to see you too, Jim, and glad to be with other members of the delegation. I too represent part of Harris County. Happy to have Richard and Debbie as delegation members up in Harris County. I'm also in southern Troup County, and I'm in northwestern Muskogee County. I'm Vice Chair of Ways and Means Committee, Vice Chair of Natural Resources. I serve on Transportation Committee, Economic Development Committee, Motor Vehicles, and Appropriations. And glad to be with y'all today.
Well, thank you, everyone. Senator Robertson, we hope to have him come on a little bit later prior to getting off the phone, but this is our entire delegation, and we do this quite often, Councilor Barnes, and as you know, we try to work with the River Valley Commission, and because we know that you all promote orderly growth and prosperity for a 16-county region, which Columbus is, the Muskogee County is a part of. So we appreciate your hard work and what you do as it relates to the commission. And it's not often that we get the full delegation, but this was so important. The members were excited and delighted to do it. So with that, we're going to turn it over to you, and you will conduct this part of the meeting. So Councilor Pop Barnes. Pop.
Representative Smari, thank you so very much. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out on your very, very, very busy day for this, because it's important. You are the ones that make things happen. And it's always a delight to see with you and have a conversation. And I personally look every year for us to get together in Buena Vista. And so I'm so glad that we're able to get together via Zoom. So we are getting together. And I've got a list of questions to ask, and very good questions, in fact. And when I figured I needed to find out who could really synopsize the issues pertinent to Columbus, there's no one I knew better than our very capable city manager, Isaiah Hughley. And so I went to him to ask him. I said, because I'm telling you, I'll tell everybody, he's the answer man. And so I want to, Carolyn, would you personally convey a thank you to Isaiah, the city manager, from me? I appreciate him. Because the first question is, under COVID-19, because of the health emergency, additional funding was provided for Medicaid. That funding is about to expire. How will we be able to take care of citizens in Columbus and the River Valley region who will continue to need care?
Councilor Pop Barnes, I'm going to ask Representative Carolyn Hugley and Representative David Buckner. They are both on the subcommittee of appropriation on community health. So we'll start with Representative Hugley, and then we'll go to Representative Buckner. Representative Hugley.
Thank you, Chairman Spirey, and thank you, Councilor Barnes. I will convey that to my husband, what you've said about him. While we have been in this health emergency under COVID-19, additional Medicaid dollars have come to our state in terms of the FMAP is what it's called, the Federal Medical Assistance Program. We've gotten additional monies. And so during that time frame, anybody that was on Medicaid could stay on Medicaid. And this was particularly important in my mind for mothers, pregnant women, because we have been advocating for an extension for Medicaid coverage for pregnant women for up to 12 months. Fortunately, the legislature moved it from 60 days to 6 months last year. And the next phase would be to move it all the way to 12 months. And they were able to get that benefit this time. But once we get to the end of 2021, that additional level of reimbursement will go away. And Georgia will have to go back and reassess what it's going to do for its Medicaid program. And I'm hopeful that we will get to a point where we can expand Medicaid beyond where it is now. But as a state, we have been very responsible, and we've done very well with the resources that have been available to us. Our subcommittee chair, Butch Parrish, is very, has been a longtime member of the legislature. He's very concerned about the health status of all of our Georgians. And so we spend a lot of time trying to make sure we have doctors all across the state of Georgia and we have access. So that's going to continue to be a challenge for us, but we'll continue to work on that.
One of the other things that happened as a result of COVID is that there were opportunities that presented themselves, particularly in the area of telemedicine. And one of the things that we found is that people did in fact like to use the telemedicine. Reimbursement was allowed for that. So I do think we have some opportunities to help some of our citizens in that manner as we put money in the budget to expand rural broadband opportunities for them to match money with the other federal and other type grants. And as we expand telemedicine and into other parts of the state, hopefully we'll be able to cover some of the people that might end up rolling off of our Medicaid rolls. And of course, we always hold out the hope that Georgia will do some expansion of Medicaid to cover the uninsured people in our state.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Representative Councilor Barnes, go ahead.
I thought you were going to make a comment reference that. If not, I go to the second question.
Okay.
What is the impact, what do you feel is the impact of having the Mercer School of Medicine in Columbus and the region? And what will this mean for us here in Columbus?
Chairman Smith, would you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Just so you know, the Mercer School of Medicine will start having students in the new facility starting in January of next year, 2022. And the goal is start to, once it gets into full swing, to graduate about 60 doctors per year, with the hope that a lot of these doctors will go into underserved areas. One of the things, or a couple of the things that a lot of your med schools don't do, number one is Mercer only accepts students from Georgia. And in a lot of cases, they look at the zip code where the student has applied from. To give you kind of a rough impact this would have, if you got a kid from, say, up there at Buckhead in Atlanta, you know, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, if he goes down to Southwest Georgia, I don't think he's going to stay there very long because it's not the lifestyle he's accustomed to. But if you have a kid who from that area, understands that area, likes to live there, they're much more apt to move back. But, you know, this has been a tremendous, or will be a tremendous impact. I think everybody knows Matt Swift and Jimmy Yancey. They shortly after the groundbreaking back in September, they were talking about this Mercer School of Medicine may have the economic impact on Columbus comparable to Pratt Whitney. That's a big impact, because what you're looking at not only is the school itself, but all the supply companies that have to deal with the school. But you know, believe it or not, Columbus has some underserved areas. And you know, you go down to Richmond now, they don't have a doctor, they don't have a pharmacy, so they have to drive 30 miles either way just to go see either one. So this is the kind of thing that we're trying to address. Plus, Mercer is also in the process of putting in clinics. There's plans to have one in Harris County. The goal is to hopefully over the next several years put in about 30 to 50 clinics in counties primarily that don't have doctors. One thing a lot of people don't know is if a county does not have a doctor in it, Blue Cross Blue Shield does not come there. So these are some of the kind of health issues that we're hoping that this Mercer School of Medicine brings forward. It's taken about almost 11 years now from once this thing first got started. And the president of Mercer said the other day that, you know, 3 things had to happen. Number 1, the Mercer had to agree or support it. Number 2, the community had to support it. And number 3, the state had to be involved. And all 3 of those things have occurred now. So we're lucky that we're going to have this kind of facility. And if you haven't been by the facility recently, you need to go take a look at it. It is a big building, and there will be a lot of wonderful things that come out of that.
Well, that's
We'll I'm glad this still pops out, and I heard Rich talking about this, and I just could not let this go. The word I talked to, like all the doctors around the country, they said once you get a medical school campus in your community, there's a transformation that occurs, that it changes the entire community and the surrounding counties. So I think he talked about the various counties and what effect it would have on them. So that's something that we're looking forward to, the opening of the Mercer School of Medicine. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think
Councilor
that both you, Representative Smiley, and Representative Smith brought up so many points, not only as far as health is concerned, because we still know there's a dearth nationwide of physicians, but also about the economic impact that it will have on Columbus as well. And the next question, I know that every one of you have had this question asked of you multiple times. And in fact, Representative Buckner hinted at something that's extremely important. And this is the question. So broadband is important to rural areas because telemedicine is one of the ways to improve health care in rural Georgia. That could not be any more true. However, what we're hearing is what can be done to support and ensure that broadband coverage in the River Valley region and Columbus will really come to the extent that it needs to, particularly in the rural areas.
Let's start off with Senator Randall Robinson, and then pick up with Representative Van Smith, and then Representative Debbie Buckner. So would you start that conversation, Senator Robinson?
Yes, sir. I think one thing that got us moving in the right direction was a couple of years ago, Senate Bill 2 was passed and was perfected over in the House and came out and gave a lot more opportunities to others that had not been allowed to be involved in bringing broadband into rural Georgia in years past. And I think through that and other technologies such as Elon Musk, I think their SpaceX program is still putting around 70 to 80 low altitude satellites per month up there and his goal is to provide broadband to the entire United States within the next 24 months. And there's been a lot of positive feedback, but probably one of the biggest obstacles we've had in some of these, and some members of the delegation may agree with me, but on the provider side, it seems like sometimes there's a lot of too many cooks in the kitchen, if you will, and everybody thinks that they have the best idea. But the positive of it is that the General Assembly has gotten focused on the singular mission of looking into all of those areas that are underserved. And we even find underserved areas in South Atlanta, in some of those areas. So and the importance that you make, Councilor Barnes, with the medical aspect of it is the fact that something that Chairman Smith mentioned with the Mercer Clinic coming to Hamilton, Georgia, which many people don't know that Harris County does not have a full-time physician, that telemed being an important part of that, we have to have a strong and dependable broadband service to get it there. So it still remains at the top of everybody's list, and the General Assembly is still working hard toward that singular goal. And I think we're all fairly united on that. And I'll relax and let the rest continue the conversation.
Yes, just adding to that, EMCs have played a big part in the broadband, trying to deliver broadband to rural Georgia. I've met 2 times with the Diverse Power, which is the EMC out of LaGrange, Georgia. They're full steam ahead, trying to help bring these rural areas into the broadband service area. I think we always have to realize that these people, they're all, like all of us, in business to make a little bit of money. They can't go into it and lose money, but they're using some high tech technology to try to help this, and their customers are in rural Georgia. So density plays a huge part when you've got a very dense subdivision or a city, a town. That's great, but when you get out in rural Georgia where it's a mile between each customer, that's a little bit more challenging. But they are definitely working on that and trying to work with us And I just appreciate it. We've heard of a couple of announcements already through the governor's office about some of the areas in the state of Georgia, central Georgia, that EMCs have come together and providing broadband. So yes, it is big. It's huge, as Debbie and Randy mentioned, with telemedicine. And I just wanted to put a plug in too for the Mercer satellite office here in Mercer Med in Hamilton, in what used to be the county commissioners. Well, it used to be the library, and the county commissioners have that building, and it'll be a great centralized location for citizens of Harris County. We're real excited. So thanks.
I guess the only thing that I could add to and I ditto what Senator Robinson and Representative Smith have said, but I would say that in the budget process, we did add a $10 million appropriation to the One Georgia Authority for an infrastructure grant program. And then there was another 20 million that was added to the next year's budget. So over the next two funding cycles, there's $30 million that the state has put in to help with the broadband needs in rural areas. It does go back to private companies being able to cover their expenses and potentially make a little profit when there are so few customers. But there's also, this problem is nationwide. It's not not just Georgia. And what we are coming to realize is that internet broadband services are actually a utility. And we have got to realize that they are just like when we needed rural folks to have electricity. Now we need them to have this capability as well. And the partnership with our EMCs is beginning to work. The funding for seed money will hopefully help further that along.
Okay, thank you. We know how important broadband is. We want it to be affordable and accessible. So that delegation, we fight for that all the time. So we're going to continue to work on broadband.
And Mr. Chairman, I think it's important to note that one of the reasons that it's becoming even more important is because of COVID and the need for education for our children, because they were so dispersed. And so we had some issues even here in Columbus with access. And I think everybody now understands how important it is. And we are all working to make it happen. And of course, we want to push our federal elected officials to help with that infrastructure as well. Make sure that broadband is included in any infrastructure package that comes along.
Okay. Councilman.
And if I could just add a caveat on that, how beneficial telemedicine has been. There's a segment of the population near and dear to my heart. That's the senior citizens. Telemedicine has been a godsend to a lot of the senior citizens, because a lot of the caregivers who are trapped in what's called the sandwich generation, they have their family that they're taking care of, and they're taking care of a senior citizen as well. Telemedicine has been a blessing for those caregivers, and trying to piggyback on Representative Hughley, what you're talking about, access here in Columbus itself. That senior population, it has been a blessing for, has helped me in the outreach that I do for a lot of the seniors, and it's just been a blessing. And having been out in the rural areas, it's just something. And so I do know, talked to a number of people, say we have the best delegation in the world, bar none. And y'all are all working for all of our citizens. Now, this next question, I want to wrap things up. My military training taught me about time management, and I know you all are busy too. So I'm going to ask this question, and then after I ask this real hard question, it is a difficult one. It was one that you all might want to think about before you answer. And I see Representative Hughley smiling because she knows exactly what this question is. The question is this here, and everyone needs to answer this except the dean. Representative Smiley, you are not allowed to answer this question. The question is, how will naming the Sickle Research Chair in honor of Representative Carolyn Smiley mean for Columbus and the River Valley region. And so y'all can start out with whoever you want to start with.
I'll start, Pops. We're so very proud that the sickle cell research chair has been named in honor of Representative Calvin Smart. We have so many of our citizens who suffer from sickle cell, and we believe that the Research Alliance and this new endowment of a chair will help facilitate greater access to care, and hopefully a cure can be found to help people that are devastated by sickle cell anemia in our area. So our hats are off to the Research Alliance and to those who thought it not robbery to name it in honor of our dean.
I'd like to say it's an honor being a Harris County citizen to serve the Muscogee delegation. We're all friends. I appreciate all of them. And the dean, well, he's been a great friend for years. I know I was a little rough around the edges when I got there in '93, but we got past all that. And anytime you see the dean's name on something, people pay attention. And I think it's great for him. I think it's great for our area, for Columbus, and for our delegation. And it's an honor, quite an honor. And he understands that. He's a humble man. So I just appreciate the opportunity of serving with him and the rest of the delegation. Thank you.
And if I can chime in, I can say that Chairman Smyre's name carries so much credibility with it that not only does it put tremendous amount of credibility on that particular chair, but it also brings a tremendous amount of credibility to the city of Columbus. And because of what it is, and because of the pioneering that we're doing right now in the medical field with Mercer Medical School and everything else, it's another strong fact that we are taking healthcare extremely serious. And to have someone with his reputation, to have someone with his pedigree of legislative service and public service to the state of Georgia, being on that chair and him representing us, I think it puts us way ahead. And this would not have happened with anyone else. So I appreciate it.
I would just like to say, I agree. We are so very proud that it was named in honor of Dean Smyre, and it will bring credibility, even more credibility to us as a community that we are medically focused. The other thing that I think it does is there's never been an endowment of a chair of research for a disease where the disease did not improve. So I am so incredibly hopeful for all of those families that are looking for answers and looking for treatments and improvements and cures, and know that it will become, because of the increased emphasis on it and the increased notoriety and attention to it. So congratulations. And I think we're looking for a great success story in the future.
Well, I guess I'll finish it up here. I think everybody else has spoken on this, and I agree with everything everybody said. What a lot of people don't understand is, Calvin's been in the legislature a long time. And one of the things that differentiates him from a lot of politicians is that Calvin's a statesman. He looks after the needs. He looks after policy. It's not something that he goes about trying to make Calvin Smyre look good. Calvin is one of those rare individuals who, like I say, is a true statesman. And I think one of those things that it kind of brought that to light was in his naming, because those things don't just happen. It's due to what he has done over the past several years, and what we're looking forward to him continuing. But like it was Debbie said, when you get a chair, you also hopefully get results. And I think that's what we're looking for.
Thank you.
And if I can make a statement here, sickle cell disease affects so many people, but so little research has been done. I mean, really advancement. So many people suffer from, if you've ever been at the bedside of someone who's in sickle cell crisis, it's horrendous to see how much they suffer. And Representative Smith, you said, you and everyone has said you had to have a name that's going to be a magnet to draw attention to. And you're right, Representative Smiley is a statesman. Could not have been a stronger name attached to that. And I read in an article what the governor said, and Representative Smiley is the glue. Look how long he's been. He's the glue. And as we say in the military, nothing trumps seniority. Nothing trumps, on a battlefield, you want a tested individual who's been there a little bit more than a day. And so you want to have someone's name that is a lightning rod. There's no better name than Representative Calvin Smiley. And so with all that being said, Mr. Representative Smiley, do you want to make, I know you're probably fumbling for words or whatever, because you are a very humble individual.
All I can do,
your comment.
all I can do is thank you. I enjoy working with these individual members of our legislative delegation, and means the world to me to have something named in my honor. I was just absolutely stunned when they called me. I was scheduled to be out of town at the Board of Regents meeting, and they told me the day before that that I needed to be in Columbus. And so it's a great honor, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the search for the eminent scholar, and it's going to be a great opportunity for sickle cell families, and that's the most important part. So we've got a great delegation. I love them all, and you know, they say the harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. But on this phone, you got some real good laborers. They really work hard for the city of Columbus and for our state. So thank you. I share it with them, and with others who put in a lot of time and a lot of effort in this in the sickle cell space. So I share it with them as well in the House of Representatives.
Well, being timely, we've got about 2 minutes. Any last minute comments anyone would like to make?
I just want to say thank you on behalf of the delegation. We have delegation members that represent the 35 municipalities and the 16 counties in the River Valley Regional Commission. In fact, you heard Representative Hughley say she started with Lower Chattahoochee LCAA back in the day, and but Councilor Barnes and Director Livingston, I can tell you without equivocation or without hesitation, the members that you're looking at on this delegation, all your members, they're true to heart. They absolutely believe in the public policy arena and trying to provide growth and orderly growth in our region, and I commend them to you. There's a lot of experience on this phone and on this call, and a lot of sweat equity in our region. So, and I'll, Mr. Chairman, you got anything? We always gotta ask the rules chairman. Pop says he has.
I don't think so, Dean. It's always a pleasure to work with this delegation. I feel very fortunate that I have the opportunity to work with the members of our delegation, and they, you know, they set the standard in Atlanta, except maybe for me, but they set the standard up there, and it's a real pleasure to be part of this team.
And Representative Hughley, you know, I know I'm the dean, but I think Representative Hughley is I think she's the third ranking member in seniority in the House. I might have it wrong. She's the third or fourth, but I know she's up there. Tell us what is it, Representative Hughley?
Well, I'm the longest serving female.
It's
What I am, and I'm I'm within the top 5. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you. And I meant to say this, Representative Hughley, when you start talking about sickle cell, she and I said this at the press conference, she's been in the vineyards, and Representative Gloria Frazier from Waynesboro, she's been our point person on sickle cell, and Al Williams and many others who have worked. And I share it with them. And the first opportunity we get, they're gonna be over there with me. Oh, we're not gonna leave them out of this equation. You trust me on that. In fact, I explained that. I talked with the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker, and I told them I appreciate the honor, but I have to share it with those members that have been working as well. So with that, Councilor Barnes, thank you for all your work with the Regional Commission. Director Livingston, thank you. You all do a great job in fostering growth in our region, and that's important because you can't beat a better quality of life, and that's what we aspire for all of our citizens, to have a better quality of life.
Well, Chairman, I just want to say that you and the delegation, you're the ones that make things happen for the citizens, and you are sorely appreciated by this community. And as I said before, when I came in, hey, we couldn't get a better one or have a better one. And so thank you for y'all's time this morning. I know time is crucial. Just thanks so much for coming on, and looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday.